I am pleased to present to you an audio sampling of the book Wired for Success, Programmed for Failure by Dr. Jim Richards, best-selling author. I will be providing for you the introduction and Chapter 1. I stepped off of the stage after motivating people to believe for the very best life has to offer, to find myself being confronted by a musician who was part of the program. What I didn't know was that his in-laws had just suffered terrible loss. The unfortunate turn of events had hurt him deeply, and he was still in a reactionary mindset. As with most people who are reactionary, in order to protect what they do not understand, they must fight against what they do not believe. Before I had the opportunity to say anything, he was in my face, launching a reasonably controlled but deliberate attack. I'd like to see you sell this to people in third world countries who are starving, he blasted. After a 5-minute tirade, I was finally able to respond. I have shared this in third world countries, and it worked. 2 things about success that we must realize are: first, the principles of success are immutable, and second, success is relative. Immutable laws work anywhere with anyone, anytime. Although there are many relative factors that affect the application, the laws are absolute. No 2 people facing the same situation share all the same factors. There are always variables. Those variables do not change the destination, however. They only change the journey. I shared the following story with my upset friend. Several years ago, while working in Mexico, I was introduced to a family that lived in a drainage pipe just outside the compound where I was lodging. They had small children and lived in deplorable lack. They attended one of the conferences conducted in the small village, aimed at people living in destitute situations. One of my topics was success and prosperity. The greatest injustice I could have done to that family was to look at their circumstances and withhold the truth that could change their world. I knew they would be challenged. I knew their ego would be touched. But I also knew that every man faces his ego when confronting the confines of the life for which he has settled. But I was confident in the power of the truth that, when believed in the human heart, will transform any person in any situation. When we feel we have something that will help people and then withhold it because of the magnitude of their need, it is only evidence that we really don't believe what we are saying. Some might argue, do you realize how offensive it would be to tell people in lack they could have a better life? Of course I do. But I also realize it is wrong thinking, based on destructive beliefs, that is actually holding those people in their current circumstance. They have accepted and possibly become comfortable believing a lie. They settled for what they have when they didn't know what to do, because settling is a coping mechanism that frees people from the conscious stress of their situation. Once people have settled, they have to defend their position to keep from resurrecting the conscious awareness of stress. People are offended when faced with the truth that challenges what they have accepted. But, as I discovered many years ago, the truth that has the most potential to set us free also has the most potential to offend. Einstein said, "No problem can be solved from the same level of consciousness that created it." To put that into my own euphemism, the thinking that got you into your problem will never get you out. People think the way they do because they believe it is right. Being challenged with the possibility that they could change the very circumstances they have accepted initiates the defense mechanism to protect their ego by proving they are right. It is more important to justify circumstances than to discover solutions when ego is the driving motivation. That's when offense occurs. But the truth that offends one may set thousands free. Some months later, when I returned to Mexico, the family in the drainage pipe had a chicken. This was a huge improvement over their previous circumstances. The next time I visited, they had a chicken and a goat. Now their family was eating fresh eggs and goat's milk. While that doesn't seem monumental compared to our standard of living, it was relative prosperity compared to where they started and to the standard of living of the people around them. I don't know where they ended, but I do know they progressed continually as their mindset changed and they exchanged the lie for the truth. I have seen these truths work for people from all walks of life, many different nations, and all manner of circumstances. I have seen moderately successful business people become millionaires in a relatively short time. I have seen people go from barely getting by to having more than enough. Their definition of success was relative to where they started. But there is always one common denominator in those who make this journey. It is never the external sources that determine our ceiling for success. It is always how we have been programmed, what we have been led to believe by the influences around us. Whether you are completely broke, moderately successful, or multiplying your millions, these principles apply to you, and these tools can be used by you. You will use the same tools no matter where you are in life. Throughout this book, your programming will be confronted. You will find yourself tempted to defend the very thinking that is holding you hostage to your current level of success or lack. You cannot be both receptive and defensive. One precludes the other. You don't have to accept everything at face value, but you do have to be willing to study, think, ponder, and consider the possibility of the things you read herein. But more than anything else, you have to start any search with the willingness to find what you do not have. You have to attempt to open every door with a commitment to walk through it. You have to be willing to give up what you've got in order to find something better. I encourage you to write that statement on a card and use it for a bookmarker. Read it every time you open this book. The level to which you feel defensive and threatened is in exact proportion to the degree your life will change by this truth. Chapter 1: Wired for Success. Lack is an illusionary prison fortified by the imaginary bars of our beliefs. Man was never designed to live in failure or lack. Failure and lack go against every inherent instinct in man. No matter how hard life is, there is a constant struggle in man to somehow make it better. We all want the best for our children. We want to provide for our family. Failure may have been something with which we have learned to cope, but it will never be natural, consistent with our original nature. In fact, coping with failure creates unrecognized systemic stress that robs us of the creativity and energy that could be mustered to bring about our desired success. If you believe the biblical account of creation, which I do, then you too realize that man lived in abundance from the moment he awakened on planet Earth. Success and abundance are his natural state. He was wired for success from his first breath. Any other state is foreign, stressful, and destructive. Man was placed in a garden with every need met and an unlimited supply of natural resources. He lived in the epitome of abundance. There was always more than enough. The result was that man lived free from the stress that occurs when having to face the daily struggle of meeting basic needs. Man was created to live in paradise. Many are quick to point out the fall of man and its ensuing consequences as an explanation for the current struggle with success. Some even falsely believe that poverty and lack have some intrinsic value to man's personal development. The Bible is a testament to the fallacy of such irrational logic. From the fall forward, God is not only reassuring man of his desire for his success and well-being, but also giving man a constant prescription for success in a world that has gone awry. Controlled by beliefs. Failure and lack were foreign to man as he was originally designed, but they became the new normal for man as he has been culturally programmed. Among the many freedoms we have is the freedom of belief and choice. Our beliefs become our subconscious programming that not only directs our life, but also controls our capacity for understanding and perception. If we believe life should be hard, then we will experience a hard life. If success in our paradigm only belongs to the deserving, then we will hold ourselves to a level of prosperity we feel we deserve. In other words, our beliefs become our choices. The real problem is not as simple as we live what we believe. The deeper issue is that our perception and our ability to understand are also limited to our beliefs. We see what confirms our beliefs, no matter what the reality. Our capacity to enjoy abundance is hedged in by a lack of understanding that has nothing to do with our intellectual prowess. Our beliefs render us incapable of connecting the dots on the information that we know. As a result, Changing the world we perceive seems like an impossibility. Our perception and understanding limit the scope of our choices. We are always making the best possible choice with our current level of understanding. But beliefs, understanding, and perception make us feel the choices are very limited. Our perception and understanding then keep us enslaved to the world we believe. Scientists are now discovering a new world in cellular biology. Cutting-edge science is bringing the scientific and medical communities closer and closer to the biblical accounts of man, creation, and nature. In the book, The Healing Code, Doctors Ben Johnson and Alex Lloyd point out that cellular memory include not only our personal memories, but also the memories of our genealogy. This would mean that since I was created in the likeness and image of God, I would be genetically wired to function like my Creator. However, since my ancestors have lived lives that may have been filled with hardship, I have also come to be programmed to accept hardship as a way of life. The struggle for fulfilling my created potential goes beyond simple belief. It goes to the core of my being, my cellular programming. Man has ultimate dominion of planet Earth. He is at the top of the intellectual hierarchy. In all of creation, he is second only to the Creator. We were created in the likeness and image of God. There is nothing about God that says failure. There is nothing about the way our bodies work that says failure. Everything in us strives toward life, love, and success. We, unlike any other creature on this planet, have the ability to change the quality of our life by changing our beliefs and decisions. Our dilemma lies in the deepest internal conflict imaginable. We have been wired for success, living in God's image and walking in His divine characteristics. But we have been programmed for failure. Nearly everything in this life has led us to believe success should be hard and only belongs to the precious few. Our beliefs become the force that guides, empowers, or disempowers our life. Designed for success. The success for which we were designed begins with recognizing the Creator as our source for optimum success and unlimited wisdom. Abundance is His desire for us. It was His expressed intention from the beginning and is still His goal for man. From these beliefs, we simply harmonize ourselves with the will and wisdom of the Creator and find ourselves in a natural flow of success and creativity. The person who does not believe success to be God's plan for man is placed in a tormenting dichotomy. Something deep in his being stirs his desire for success. He is always searching to make his life better. Yet, he feels there is something wrong, perverted, or selfish about the desire to succeed and prosper. He is either bound to pursue success with great trepidation or to accept lack and limitation as normal. Many seeking to cope with the self-induced guilt abandon God as a way to cope with their need to succeed. Others resign themselves to a life of lack to appease the false sense of religious obligation. Neither of those alternatives is acceptable. This book is designed to answer your questions about the limitations you have placed on your success and to show you how to move the boundaries within which you have lived. This is not a book just for Christians. It is for all people. The principles in this book have been proven in my own life and in the lives of those I have studied. These principles have been used for believers and non-believers alike for thousands of years. Because the laws of success are inalienable, they are available to all who will access them. But for those who struggle to free their minds and escape the prison of religious negativity, I share this scripture. It is He who gives you power to get wealth. The laws of success are available to all who will access them. God Himself gives the power, the capacity, and the strength to get wealth. It is part of His design for man in this earth to prosper and be successful. In fact, we are limited in the meaningful endeavors we can do in planet Earth if we are living in lack. The days in which we live could well introduce us to times of potential hardship beyond what most people have ever seen. Yet, it is well within our capacity to turn the tide and reshape the future. However, the future must be reshaped by those who know, believe, and live in true success and abundance. The success you will learn in this book is a success that doesn't make one man suffer so another man can succeed. It is a success that has the potential to create wealth for the entire planet. It is a wealth and success that emerges from the heart that influences everything in its realm for good. The programming with which you struggle at this moment on some level is the same programming that leads to bad governmental financial policies, selfish bosses, the need for control, and the idea that the world is collapsing. The world's economy is not at the root of what is collapsing. Rather, it is the heart of men who, through their programming, have no capacity for true success. If we will believe the truth and learn to succeed, then we can provide an answer for a world headed toward ruin. We can turn the tide. In this book, you will be shown how to reprogram your heart so you can function the way you were wired to function, with success, peace, and joy. You will be introduced to a new concept of positive internal success. You will be empowered to succeed beyond your limiting circumstances or a past cluttered with reminders of failure. You will enjoy a success that contributes to every aspect of your life.